And welcome back to Sports the NEMO Way. Drew's first intro here, coming at you. Today we're going to talk about interior alignment, but as Alex would say, we got to do some housekeeping first. Alex is not here, obviously, but Wade is here. What a surprise. And we have a guest. Brock is back for his 4th episode.
I'm back.
There you go.
Yeah, moving up the list.
Like I was telling them before, the guy that celebrates linemen basically during our Mount Rushmore, he brought one every week, is not here to defend them. So,
Alberta.
So hopefully Alex likes our list because he's the lineman lover. So
And I have his list.
yes, we have his list.
We'll get his input.
Well, do you want to say something about Aaron and his list?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and Brock's dad's in a list too as well. So we got plenty of lineman lists out here. So. And Brock's pointing at him, since I can't throw it to myself, I'll throw it over to Brock. So, Brock, who's your 5th?
My number
interior
5 is Larry Allen.
Okay, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay, he's my number 4.
He is my number 3.
He's my
He's
number
my
two.
number 5.
Number 2.
Oh, and he is.
And he is on Alex's list.
So Larry
Okay,
Allen
so-
is on.
Larry Allen's on the list.
Larry's in.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Damn.
what's
Nice
sick.
start, guys.
Yeah.
Man, I figured he would probably show up.
I mean,
Yeah.
the dude was an animal.
He was huge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, he was the most notable Cowboy lineman on that.
Yeah. I mean, you can go on YouTube and YouTube Larry Allen, and the first thing that shows up is him bench pressing like 700 pounds in the weight room for the Cowboys.
Or him chasing that guy down on that interception. and he just-
from behind?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, it's
I mean,
like it's amazing. Like, they have a video of him in the Cowboys facility, and he bench presses. It's either 600 or 700 pounds.
Wow.
yeah, he's just crazy strong.
I mean, he just manhandled everybody. He manhandled NFL defensive linemen.
I mean, he's got 11 Pro Bowls, 7-time All-Pros. He was on one of those Super Bowl teams. He's all 90s, all 2000s, so he's got 2 decade teams, which is crazy. I mean,
Over 200 starts.
Yeah.
6 years in a row, he was first team All-Pro.
1 Super Bowl.
I'll say we all talk about the Cowboys line, but he was the anchor behind it. I think we could all say.
So he was all 90s and all 2000s?
Yes, he was
Okay.
both.
Cool.
I just remember him just ragdolling people. He's just
Oh, yeah.
just an animal.
I mean, they say he's 6'3", 340, but he looks bigger than that.
Just
Huge.
yeah. I mean, just imagine you like do everything properly and you're getting ready to go past this guy, and then he just all of a sudden puts his hands on you. He can bench press 700 pounds. He can throw you to the ground whenever he wants.
Yeah.
Like,
Or
what do
just
you do with
or
that?
just say you're running and he just grabs you.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure he just grab you with one hand and throw you
Like,
down.
Now he's going against other guys that are freaks of nature, but they're not that big of freaks of nature.
No.
Like,
Not everyone in the NFL is benching 700 pounds.
no.
Yeah.
I've just that's
Running back's best friend.
Or how about this? Larry Allen's pulling on counter.
oh, he probably did. He was athletic.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're just on him running people down. Could you imagine the defense
Yeah.
then? Yeah, I got a free run. Oh, here comes Larry Allen unhooking the trailer. He's coming on the train tracks. Here we go. Chug it, chug it.
Yeah, just a monster of a man.
All right, well, for these listeners, just a fair warning tonight. These conversations probably won't be as long about the linemen because, like we've talked about before, they don't have stats. It's
Right.
just their Pro Bowls and whether this person said they blocked well or not.
Pretty much, yes.
Well, that's one thing that we kind of talk about is all pros to me, when I was looking at my list, were a little more important than the Pro Bowl because that's what everybody else is saying about how good you are.
Yeah.
And so I think,
Right.
I think for linemen-
talking a lot about the all
I think for linemen, all pros are the most important because that really tells you like they were the best for those years.
Well, that's like their only stat to even go by and evaluate,
yeah, like-
unless you watched them. You
I
know?
mean, the only stat really the tackles gives whether they give up sacks or not. Sometimes you can pull up, see how many sacks they gave up in their career.
yeah.
But you can't do that for centers and guards.
Yeah. Well, like nowadays, now they have like blocking percentages and
Yeah.
all this stuff. But I mean, that stuff's brand new.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have, besides like pancakes, you don't have a lot
Yeah.
and sacks allowed, like you said.
There's nothing you can
You
really
kind of
do.
just know who's good and who isn't.
Yeah.
Linemen are there to exist and block.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're huge parts of the team, but there's just no stats to help compare them without actually seeing them all play.
The quarterback knows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The running back and quarterback know whether
Yes,
they're doing
they
their
do.
job or not.
They know who the best ones are.
So who had Larry as their 5? Brock and yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Wade.
He was me and Alex's 3.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So
Was he
Wade.
your 4?
Yeah, he's my 4. I'm just trying to see what 5s we got left.
I have Mike Webster at 5.
Mike Webster at 5. All right, he's my number 3.
Did not make my list.
He's Alex's number 5, and he didn't make my list.
Okay.
I got Mike Webster at 1.
Oh.
Oh,
okay.
nice.
All right, so we got 4 for Mike Webster. Yeah, it's counting Alex's technically since he's.
Well, I mean, I'm a little guard heavy, but Mike Webster just kind of sticks out in my mind. We were kind of talking before we got on here. This dude was just an animal for like almost 2 decades straight. And he was even extremely successful later into his career. And that's after he was the best offensive lineman on the most dominant team of the entire 70s. I mean, he's got 4 Super Bowls. I think it was like 9 Pro Bowls. Here we go. 5 first team All Pros?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's got
one second team.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
6.
And he was just so important, such an important part of such an important team in NFL history. And obviously he's phenomenal at being a center. So I just felt like he belonged on my list. And that's kind of what I went off of.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, obviously he made holes like we talked about in the Steelers episode for Franco Harris and those guys. I mean, and then when I was reading more stuff about him, it said when he went and played for the Chiefs for those 2 years, he's one of the reasons why Christian Okoye was able to get over 2,000 yards and for those 2 years, like.
Well, one of the articles I was reading about him with the Steelers, what made him so important is, one, being a center is extremely important, obviously, because they control the offensive line, they make the signals and the calls and all that, and so it's a huge responsibility and then he did that on one of the greatest teams to ever play football, and he was usually the one doing opening up the holes for Franco, who was the main part of their offense. Him and what was the other guy's name, Uncle Doug, that ran with Franco and
Rocky Blyer?
Rocky Blyer. Thank you.
Yep.
And then they would do play action off of that and throw these huge deep passes to Swan all the time or do Stallworth over the middle. And Webster's the one making those calls, and he's the one, and he was phenomenal at pass blocking, and he's the one protecting Bradshaw. And when you do those long play action plays, you have to block forever. And it's just, he was just well balanced in to some guys' favor, run or pass blocking. And everything I read kind of said he was great at both.
Yeah, I would say again, honestly, I've never been a lineman, but I feel like they just dread when they hear play action passes because they know they have to you have to hold it out for a run play, and then you got to hold it for a pass. So like those are the longest plays they've got to hold it.
And that's all Lynn Swan was there for, was deep passes.
Yeah.
That's all he did. I mean, he was good at it.
Yeah,
that's all he did. He just went down the field and jumped up and tried to make a great catch.
Yeah,
and they tried that a couple times a quarter, and
we
bagged on Lynn.
I was waiting on him. We've bagged on him a little bit.
But I mean, that's why he was on the team, and that's why we know his name, because he caught some of those crazy passes in big games.
Well, remember the one night Alex comparing the Jerry Rice, it made him look like complete trash.
Like 21,000 yards to 4,000.
Yeah, like you can't compare him to him.
Yeah, 1,500 receptions to like 320. It was like, oh no.
Oh man,
Swan's got those rings. Him and Webster.
Hey.
Oh.
Ray, you got your number 5 left?
Yeah, I do.
All right, who is it?
John Hanna.
Oh,
He's my number 1.
he's my number 1.
Okay.
He's Alex's number 1.
He's my number 2.
Did not make my list.
Okay.
John Hanna is the man, Brock. He's the man.
Yeah.
Hey.
We're about to educate you on the Patriot that we like.
He's
Now-
the only Patriot I like.
Never heard of her.
Her.
All right, so this man is in the Hall of Fame. He's on the 70s and 80s team. 9 Pro Bowls and 7 All-Pros.
7 first team. He's got 3 second teams.
Yeah, he's 10-time All-Pro.
So
10 All-Pro.
And listen to this. He finished offensive player 7th.
That's badass.
Yes.
As the offensive line, you finished 7th in the
Right.
offensive player voting.
And he spent a lot of years. I believe he was there during that Super Bowl appearance, I think. Was he there for the Super Bowl
Yeah,
appearance?
he was. I think he was there for one of the Super Bowls, maybe.
Yeah. I think he was there when they
He was
lost
all
to the-
70s and all 80s.
Yeah.
So
I want to say, but
Yeah, he was there for the Bear Super Bowl that.
But for a large part, other than those couple years of them making the playoffs, he was on a lot of really bad teams.
Oh, well, here, I'll just pull up his playoffs. They made the playoffs in 76, 78, and 82. They lost the first round. Then in 85, they went all the way to the Super Bowl. But other than that,
So
he went to the playoffs 4 times, and only 1 time he actually won a game.
that's nuts.
Yeah.
Like,
And it's not like he's controlling it. Like, he's.
Right.
like I have almost like a ultra level of respect for like him and Joe Thomas and like Bruce Matthews, like these guys that never won anything, and sometimes they're just on these god awful teams, and they just went out there and destroyed people anyway.
Yeah.
They didn't let it change their attitude, or they just went out there and destroyed people, even on these god awful teams.
I remember one of the first times I remember learning about John Hamm was when we were doing the Patriots episode, and then right at that time, the ESPN was doing like their top players, and they said Larry Allen was the best guard, but the very next was him. And I looked more into him, and he's a bad dude.
Yeah.
If he would have played for a franchise like the Cowboys, I think everyone would say he's probably 1 or 2. You know, I just think some people don't really know who he is,
Yeah.
and it's just unfortunate.
It was pretty impressive.
So it's just back then the Patriots just didn't have success yet like they did.
I mean, they just weren't a famous franchise at all until Brady and Belichick, to be honest.
Yeah. So they were just known for a couple of their Super Bowl appearances against the Bears, and then they go to one against the Packers.
Yes.
Yeah.
They made it to one with Parcell, I think. Yeah, that's the one that really lose to the
Oh, yeah.
Packers, I think.
Yeah. So, yeah. All right, does anyone else got anything about John Hamm?
I still have number 4.
Well, I got to say my number 5.
Oh, that's great 4 as well.
Oh.
So I got to say my number 5.
Yeah.
My number 5 is Randall McDaniel.
He's my number 3.
Oh,
That's my number 4.
number 4.
Did not make my
He
list.
did not make Alex's list.
I don't
Okay.
have him.
All right.
Brock,
Made 3.
Brock, what list you got going on over there, bud?
You're about to see.
All right.
I got some
Alright.
dudes on my list.
My guy, he's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-time All-Pro.
Yeah, 7 first teams.
Yeah, 12-time Pro Bowler. He's part of the All-90s team. He's actually got 2 rushes for 1 yard and a catch for 2 yards and a touchdown, Ray. My guy had the touchdown.
That's what the F I'm talking about.
There we go.
He was one of the guys that played for the Vikings when they started getting good, when Randy Moss and Chris Carter and all them were there. He was one of the guys that blocked for all of them. He's only 6'3", 275, but still, he was...
It's obviously a badass.
No, yeah. I mean, from 90 all the way to 98, he was Pro Bowler or All-Pro all those years. I mean, for 9 straight years, he was All-Pro, and then from 89 all the way to 2000, he was making the Pro Bowl. So, I mean, there's a reason why he's on the All-90s team.
Yeah.
Basically, the whole 90s, he was,
I mean,
The man.
yeah,
12 Pro Bowls and 9 All-Pros.
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
in 14 years.
No, I don't have a problem with him being on the list at all. I just it was I felt like it was hard to pick between all these guards and centers, and
It was.
And it's hard just to compare them. So
yeah, and he was, I don't know. I mean, I remembered him a little bit, and I came across him when I was doing some lists, and I just went another direction there. But I don't have a problem with him.
I would say, yeah, he's my number 5. So,
Yeah, I mean, he's a badass.
all right. So, yeah.
How many people had him?
Yeah, how many? I did.
So you
I
three?
did.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
how
just
many is
three.
that?
3.
3. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Brock. You ready to say your number 4?
Yeah. My number 4 is Travis Frederick,
Is that the old Cowboys guy?
Cowboys center.
So, no, I don't have old Travis.
Neither does Alex.
I don't have him, but he was a badass there for a while. I remember him a chunk of years ago.
13. He played 7 years. I will say he probably did retire a little early, but was dealing with a lot of injuries. He only played 6 with the Cowboys because he was injured. But 5-time Pro Bowler and a 1-time All-Pro.
Wow. That picture they got up here on Pro Football Reference looks
Looks like a
he-
mugshot.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, when the Cowboys first got like Dak and Zeke, and remember that they blew up on like 13 games. They
he
were-
was.
him and Zach Martin were the ones that were destroying everybody,
Yes, that's right.
and Tyrone Smith.
But looks like he gets hurt.
Something happened to him.
Yeah.
He had to
It
retire.
says he has a
I don't remember what it
goalie
was.
and Barra syndrome.
Oh, Guillain-Barré syndrome?
Yeah.
Okay.
What is
Yeah.
I think
that?
that's one of those things that they always ask you about when you get your flu shot.
I don't know what it
It
is.
sounds like.
Well, he had that, and then he came back for a year, and then he was done. So I don't know what happened after that.
I don't know all the details of that illness.
Yeah. But yeah, his first 5 years in the league, he played all 16 games, and he missed the 2018 season. Then he came back, played all 16 games, and he was just done.
Yeah, there it is.
I remember him being in the news for something wrong, but I don't know what the
There
hell
it
this
is.
is.
So Guillain-Barré syndrome is mainly associated with preceding exposure to an infectious agent, although the precise pathogen mechanisms and causes remain unknown. Increased evidence indicate an association between trauma-related factors and GBS. So there's your WebMD spot of the day.
For all those
Yeah.
doctors out there watching this, please give the Sports NEMO
Yeah.
podcast an email about more information, please.
I was going to say, we're not
We're not
here
experts.
to do medical stuff. We're here to tell you about sports stuff. We promise you that. But our medical diagnosis comes from Ray looking it up on the internet, or Alex, or me. So you know how we go about looking stuff up. So, but yes, bro, he was the main part of that Cowboys O-line with DeMarco Murray stormed the league, and then Zeke's beginning. He just, yeah.
Him and Zach Martin and Tyron Smith.
I mean,
the staples of that O-line.
He could very easily still be playing now.
Yeah,
I mean,
guess
he could definitely still be
yeah.
playing.
Because I mean, Martin and Smith are both
4
still
years.
playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say, yeah, he could very easily
Yeah.
still be in the league. It'd only be his 10th or 11th
He'd only
year.
be like 32.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the season after he played or got injured with that thing, he started all 16 games.
Yeah, he got fourth on the comeback player of the year that year.
Yeah.
And again, Lyman getting votes and that stuff.
Yeah.
Let's see who won that. Oh, this is Lamar Jackson. Oh, Ryan Tannehill won.
Oh, yep. Flavor of the year.
He barely won over Jimmy G.
Oh
What?
God.
Comeback player of the year that year.
I think he was also, I think, several years, like mostly every time he was in the league, I think he qualified for Walter Payton Man of the Year too.
It's a great award.
It is.
One, it's just because it's a good thing. It means you're
You're helping.
helping out the community. But second off, greatest player of all time.
He's
Well-
great. He's great.
He's very great.
All right, let's move on.
Yeah.
That's good.
All right, who's got a 4 left?
I do.
All right, Dad, you haven't said one yet.
All right. Mine is Jim Ringo.
I don't have Ringo.
I do not either.
I thought about it.
He's an older guy.
We're racking up the line.
We are.
Go.
Um,
I still got a few.
he Ringo was all 60s team, couple NFL championships, 10 Pro Bowls, 9 All Pros, including 6 first team. He played from 53 through 67 for Green Bay, and then finished his career in Philly. But he was there with Green Bay when they won. Well, he's got 2 NFL championships. He got 2 of their NFL championships.
Was he not there for the
I
Super
don't
Bowls?
think he was there for the first Super Bowls.
Okay.
Because I looked up him a little bit, but then I also ran into another Packer guard that was just like played. I think they played together for a little bit, but then it's Kramer.
Jerry Kramer.
Kramer
Yeah.
was there for the Super Bowl, and I was so close to putting Kramer on my list. And I was like, everyone thinks I'm the old guy hater. I'm gonna sneak one in. Everyone's gonna freak out. And then because when I was reading about Kramer was he could, when they invented the power sweep that helped them win those
Right.
Super Bowls, Kramer was the one
Right.
that
He was
led
the pulling
way.
guard.
He would pull.
Yeah.
He was
out,
yeah.
he was the one leading the power sweep, and of course he had all these accolades and stuff. But then I was reading about this guy that you had, and they just kind of canceled each other out for me. I didn't know which direction to go.
Yeah. Well, I was looking at Ringo and Webster. They were kind of bouncing back and forth between the two. And he had one more Pro Bowl than Webster, and he had a couple more All Pros. That's why I went with him instead of Webster. So, but get the old guy in there. Alex didn't have him either. So,
An old Packer in there.
yeah, I know you don't like the Packers.
Hey, we just threw a Patriot in there. It's all right.
It's a little bit different. That was 4. All right, well, you said you got your 4 left.
Yes,
right.
I have Gene Upshaw. As,
Oh, he was
Okay.
good.
I don't have Upshaw.
I don't either.
This is a bit of a
Wasn't
mouthful.
good. He was
so
very good though.
Bear with me. He's a 2-time Super Bowl champion, 1-time AFL champion, 3-time first team All Pro, 2-time first team All AFL, 5 times second team All Pro, and made 1 second team All AFL.
Good guy.
So yeah. So
What?
and he was on 3 championship teams and 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah, so he was probably during the heydays of the Oakland Raiders.
Yeah, he was all through. He started in the late 60s and ended in the early 80s. So
Yeah,
it's
during
just a
there.
handful.
That's back when they were doing.
I just figure
15.
between all the NFL and the AFL stuff and the championships and being on the iconic teams and I just thought he was a good solid pick.
I say he's another one of those linemen that we've talked about throughout
Yeah.
the league. He's
Well, the Raiders are kind of the Raiders might have the biggest badass offensive linemen like ever. Like they have a lot of all-time great offensive linemen. They have a number of them.
well, who was that other guy that we argued about with him, with Upshaw?
It was that older guy that you called Grandpa about, Jim Otto.
Jim Otto, yep.
Jim
Jim
Otto.
Otto. Well, then they had Art Shell back in the day too.
Right, our Shell
Yeah.
played tackle.
And I
He
think-
played guard.
Yeah,
Otto was a little older.
Yeah.
it was more 50s, 60s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They just had a lot of badass offensive linemen. But is that the only one with Upshaw?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, does anyone have any number 4s left?
No.
Alex's. If you want to talk about Alex's.
All right, I guess. What's Alex's number 4?
Jason Kelsey.
Oh, no. Let me pull up Jason Kelsey stuff since he's lucky I like Jason Kelsey.
He
Yeah.
is pretty cool.
Well, he's got 6 Pro Bowls, 5 All Pros.
And he's part of the tush push.
Yeah.
The most unstoppable play. Eagles, it's 1st and 9. We know we got a yard. I mean, he is one of the parts of it, though. He gets really low and it's like, especially.
I mean, he's a monster.
No, yeah, he was
I
on,
definitely wouldn't want to line up across him.
No.
I mean, he was on that Super Bowl team.
He had
Big
this
Eagles.
phenomenal speech at the parade. You ever watched it?
I don't
He has
think
this
so.
insane speech at the Super Bowl parade
Really?
where he just goes in on everyone, and it's intense. Just we can't listen to it on air. It's very vulgar and long.
He's also got a Christmas album along with the other Eagles. He's got his podcast with his brother. He's not just known for playing on the field, but he does stuff outside of football too. And I like the guy. I mean,
He is cool. I enjoy their podcast. I watch clips of it.
I just see clips. I don't listen to the whole thing, but it seems to be decent. But yes, I like Jason Kelsey, but just not.
Yeah, I mean he is a monster, and in today's NFL, where some of these guys have to do a lot more running around, and they get more creative with all their stuff they do. And Jason Kelsey is a freak. Like he gets around the field, and he can do a lot with him, and he is a phenomenal center.
We forgot. Is there any bias going on since Alex is an Eagles fan?
No, I don't
Call
think
him out
of
like
that.
that, bro.
Not Alex. He wouldn't show no bias.
So in a
No.
few years, we'll see if Kelsey's still, and he may slide in there.
Yeah,
Ugh.
he's a for sure Hall of Famer.
Oh, yeah.
I just didn't quite think of him as top 5 when you combine guards and forwards.
All right. Does anybody else have any 4s left before we move on to 3?
No,
No.
All right. Does anyone who's got their 3s left?
I do.
Me. Ray can go first.
All right. That's fine. Ray, who's your number 3?
Jerry Kramer.
Oh, Jerry made it.
Oh,
I do not have Jerry.
I don't
I
either.
kind of made your argument for you.
I don't.
Yeah.
There you go.
We're going to have a huge list.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we are.
This
Huge.
is massive.
Well, wait, we'll have an hour. Just
I just got one person left, and then I think I'm good.
I have 3
one-
people left.
I think I've got 2 left, maybe.
I have 1 left.
I have 3.
Yeah, you have 3.
So Jerry
Holy
Kramer,
shit.
he's got 2 Super Bowls, 5 NFL championships, in the Hall of Fame, all 60s team, and he doesn't have as many Pro Bowls and All Pros as everybody else, which he's at All Pro 5 and 3 Pro Bowls. But I mean, the man's got 7 fucking titles, so I had to put him somewhere on here. I thought,
And he led the power sweep.
yeah,
He did.
Power sweep. Old Jerry. 5. Good night.
dude, that's
We'll see,
insane.
Ray.
7.
Maybe I'll come support.
Well, yeah.
We're going to need a lot of
2
support
Super
for
Bowl and 5
that.
NFL.
Yeah.
I mean, when we start
That's why they
debating,
call Green Bay
All
title
these people
champ.
are
Yeah.
twice the age of
this
me.
is going to be This is gonna be nuts trying to debate.
What?
What?
You say twice the age of you?
Probably.
He's a lot.
Probably more than that.
Yeah.
Twice. Probably. What are you?
He was
14?
22 years old
2009.
and 58.
What are you? 14?
Yeah.
Twice you only be 28. Wade's more than double you.
Yeah.
Oh shoot.
Yeah, Jerry was playing in the NFL in 58.
Sorry about my math. Sorry about my math audience.
Again.
It's been a rough day.
Come on, bro. You can't be making us look like this.
It's been a rough
We
day.
gotta have some better math than that.
That's funny.
Okay.
Oh man.
So where the hell were we?
So has anyone got any threes left?
Yes.
All right, Brian. Who's your
You're
number
welcome,
three?
Wade. Jeff Saturday.
Yo.
Yeah.
The guy that
Oh,
Peyton,
put times 2 because my dad had Jeff Saturday.
Yeah.
the guy that Peyton told to shut up. I'll call the
Hey,
plays
my
Jeff.
dad also said
They get into it.
Peyton wouldn't be good without Jeff Saturday.
Jeff Saturday was a monster. I got
Jeff
no bad
Saturday.
thing.
Also led the Colts to about an 0 for record.
Just had to stick that in there,
Hey,
didn't you,
what
bro?
did you say? He led him to what?
Led him to about like a what he coached for half the season.
Hey, don't bring that up.
Didn't he win
Hey,
one-
you
didn't he
better
win a
calm
game?
down
He
back
won his
there,
Yeah, then he went.
Mr. 1 and 6 Bears.
No, we're 2 and 5.
Oh,
Golf for
excuse
back.
me.
We're pulling it together. The NFC's league. You're gonna see us 7th.
We have a D2 undrafted rookie at quarterback right
Then
now.
we get killed. That's okay.
Yeah, just keep banking on last week on that.
You only
rookie
got one more
quarterback.
win than us, Bray. Get out of here.
Anyway, 13 years with the Colts. He was one year with
Black
Green
and
Bay.
white Roger.
Why Jeff Saturday? 6-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro, and a 1-time Super Bowl winner.
He was one of the captains of our Super Bowl
Yeah.
winning team. I mean, he was
good.
He
Yeah,
was
he
a
was
monster.
He was part of the offensive line that they finally got for Peyton.
It was.
Yeah.
They had him, and we got this big old left tackle. His name is escaping me at the moment. That kind of anchored those lines. They were, at that period of time, they had become a really good offensive line. Yeah, Jeff Saturday was the captain of that line. He was a monster.
Yeah.
Then he went and blocked for Aaron Rodgers for a year.
Dummy.
Yeah, why would you protect that guy? Anyway, Brock, I'm sure 2 people in here don't mind that pick at all. What are you talking about?
Maybe there'll be 4 votes. On
Oh, no. All
All right.
right, anyone got a 3 left?
No.
Nope.
No. Has anyone got a 2 left?
Yes.
Yep.
I do too. I'll go ahead and say mine. Mine is Bruce Matthews.
Same
Those are
here.
my two.
He's my number 1.
Okay.
Okay.
He's my number 2.
Ray, you got him?
No.
Alex has him.
Alex has him at number
So,
2.
So
Bruce-
five for
5
Bruce.
for Matthew.
So all of us. So
Besides,
I'm done.
I'm
Yeah, I'm done too.
Done.
I
Ray,
have number 1.
Brock has 1 left. Ray, how many you got left?
0. I'm out.
0. Okay, so we got.
Everybody's out except
Holy
for
fuck.
Brock.
Look
Yeah.
at this list.
There's gonna be 12 offensive linemen,
Jesus.
Oh
and
my
only
God.
Larry Allen's the only one on the list.
For sure. Yeah. Well, we do have like a 5 and a couple of 4s.
Yeah, but none of them are the 5 of us here.
Well, we'll work it out.
Well,
All right.
Let's,
All right.
let's get all the names
Let's
on there.
get through
We
Bruce
gotta talk.
and get-
Yeah, so we gotta talk about Bruce. Well,
Okay, old Bruce has got 14 Pro Bowls, 10 All Pros,
Dog.
including 7 first team, all 90s team, 296 games.
I mean, he played from '83 to 2001 at offensive line. I think we talked about this in the Oilers / Titans episode.
Yeah, the Houston Oilers guy.
This is crazy. I mean, at offensive line to play that long.
Well, you talked about Webster and the 25,000 car accidents.
Oh,
and He
no.
played 245 games. Matthews played another 50 games.
That's dude.
And it says on here, Matthews went from guard, center, and tackle, but he mostly played guard and center. The first
Right.
couple years in the league, he played right guard, then
And he didn't
a couple tackles, and then he switched over. I mean, he did everything.
And he spent like a half a decade at right guard, half a decade at left guard, half a decade at center, then some other ones where it's mixed around. And
He did whatever the Oilers needed him to
Yeah.
do.
I had him at number 1 because of his accolades, his longevity, and his versatility. I just feel like it was the perfect combination for an offensive lineman. So that's why I had him as the greatest interior lineman ever.
I say he's my number 2, so I don't.
Yeah, I'm right
I
there
think-
with you.
All of us had Hannah and Matthews 1 and 2. We
Yeah.
just swapped them.
Right.
I just
Yeah.
swapped them from you guys.
Yeah, but yeah.
And Alex, too.
Yeah, and Alex.
I was saying, go along with the Matthews. This is one of the most talented families to come through the NFL. Like,
Yes.
Oh,
a
is
bunch
his
of 'em.
son Jake Matthews? Is that what his name is?
yes, his son's Jake.
He
yeah.
plays for the Falcons.
Yeah, he
I
plays
think.
now. He's a good lineman.
Yeah.
He's the left, right tackle, something like that.
Yeah.
And
His brother-
Clay Matthews, that's his
His bro-
nephew.
it's his brother. and his nephew.
Yeah,
It's
I'm saying,
both.
You got the first
Oh,
Clay
that's right.
Matthews,
There's
second
that's
Clay
right. There's
Matthews.
two Clay Matthews.
That's
Well,
a very
his dad's Clay Matthews, his brother's Clay Matthews, and his nephew's Clay Matthews.
Right.
His
Yeah.
brother's the one that we
With
talked
the
about
Brown.
in the Browns episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's better than Junior
And then
Seau.
his nephew's the Packers guy, right?
True.
Oh yeah. I brought them on.
No, I listened to the episode.
He's pretty good.
We compared it. The stats
Yeah.
are better for Clay.
I made that argument.
I know. Yeah. he's
I went back and
pretty
listened to it. You just wait. When off-ball linebackers go,
good. This is lineman. We're talking
Dad.
about lineman.
I'm cooking something up over here. But anyway, yes, we. All right, Brock, who's your number one?
Number 1 is Zach Martin.
Oh,
I actually thought about putting him on
Yeah,
the list.
I really
I did
did.
too.
I almost put him on.
Zach Martin was.
Crazy
Martin's
stat.
Good.
Out of his whole career, he's only had one holding call.
Oh,
He's
wow.
nuts.
Ooh,
I mean, he's
that's
good.
pretty impressive. All 2010s team. 8
Play-
Pro Bowls, 8 All Pros, including 6 first team.
It's pretty crazy.
He's pretty good, and he's still playing. What? How old is he?
He's only.
He's played 142
He's
games.
32, getting ready to turn 33.
And especially for being a lineman like that and having to, you've never known for him to deal with so many injuries. Like he doesn't have any, like barely any injuries.
He's also with the Cowboys again. Their line's been good. I mean, the Cowboys always have a decent line, and he's a good part of it right now.
I mean, because that all started because they drafted him and Kendricks and Tyrone Smith almost all at the exact same time. Yeah. And they just all they signed them all, which is rare. You usually don't re-sign 3 All-Pro linemen around the same exact time to the same team. And they've had a dominant offensive line. They just unfortunately haven't had a dominant quarterback.
I would imagine you wait a few
Like
more
that statement I
years
got there.
and
We're just
Zach will be on a lot of people's lists.
jabbing at people.
Yeah, we are. But honestly, I had him at 5 on my original list. And honestly, this is probably a shitty reason, but I took him off because I felt like I needed at least one pure center. So I put Mike Webster on.
Well,
But
Hey, what you got?
because my only somewhat center was Bruce Matthews on my original list. And I was like, okay, I can't just skip all the centers.
It's just with the interior alignment, they just go around so much. Like
Yeah.
no one stays really at one. That's what
I was really close to putting another guy on my list. Honorable mention. I don't know if you've heard of him, Marshall Yonda,
Yeah, from the
Oh,
Ravens.
yeah.
Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
considered putting him on, but
I brought him up in the Baltimore
Yeah,
Mount
he's
Rushmore
good.
episode.
Yeah, he was good.
He was very good.
All right, so we have 12 guys to talk about. So
One's in.
Larry Allen's in, so that means we have 11 guys for
For
four
four
spots. The most ever.
I am up for moving my Travis
Should we-
Frederick.
But let's come wait, Brock.
Let Brock finish.
I'm up if you guys don't agree. or
Oh,
disagree.
Brock.
My Travis Frederick vote can go away if you would like.
Well,
Real quick,
well, where
we
you
should
gonna put
probably
it?
tell the audience, remind them of everything
Yeah,
that's on
here
there.
we go. So Larry Allen is on the list, and then we have Mike Webster with 4 votes, John Hanna with 4, Randall McDaniel with 3, Travis Frederick with 1, Jim Ringro with 1, Gene Upshaw with 1, Jason Kelsey with 1, Jerry Kramer with 1, Jeff Saturday with 2, Bruce Matthews with 5, and Zach Martin with 1. So, all right, Brock, can we get your Frederick vote to Bruce Matthews so we can put him on the list?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Where am I?
Well, no, I was already for Bruce Matthews.
Who didn't have Bruce?
I think it was Ray.
It was-
Ray. Can we take off the Packer for Bruce?
Which
Can we
one?
take off Jerry Kramer?
Jerry Kramer.
Jerry Kramer?
Come on.
Yeah, why not?
All right.
All right,
We'll
so
speed.
Bruce is
Matt-
in.
Bruce is on. All right. Brock, will you come to John Hanna
I
for
will move
your
from.
Travis Frederick?
Yes, I will. I will
Okay.
move.
Did the other 4 of us in?
So what was the
Right-
one Brock dropped?
He just dropped Frederick.
I just dropped Frederick.
For who?
Hanna.
I
They
still.
originally brought Brock up because we.
Oh, that's right. Ray dropped the first
Yeah.
one. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Ray, do you have John Hanna?
Yeah.
Who doesn't-
Dad, do you have Hanna?
Yep.
Wade, do you have Hanna?
Yep.
Brock, you have Hanna?
No,
Now,
I
right?
do.
And, so
And I
did
do.
Alex.
And I do. Okay, so move him over, Ray. Hanna's on the list.
Well, this is working
Knocked
nicely.
this out.
All right, so Larry Allen, John Hanna, and Bruce Matthews are on the list so far. So now we have Mike Webster, Randall McDaniel, Jim Ringo, Gene Upshaw, Jason Kelsey, Jeff Saturday, and Zach Martin all for 2 spots. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 guys for 2 spots.
What are we gonna do about Alex's Jason Kelsey vote?
Right, like
Take it
this.
off.
Boom.
That's,
Just like that.
that's what he does to people. If they're not here, they can't support it. Bye.
Yeah, Jason
it's
Kelsey.
And the Eagles are on the list.
Boom, roasted.
Kelsey didn't make it.
Alex is gonna hate this episode.
I called him out at the beginning.
Okay.
Hey, I've been called out on episodes I've missed like 20 times, so you can deal with it.
Hey, he called me out this summer when I was missing all the time for it.
Yeah.
So
It's fun shit. All right, let's go.
the linemen are actually pretty entertaining.
This is kind of fun. Okay, I got a real question real quick before we go back to fucking with people. Do we want to put one real center on? Should we put one on? That's I don't know. Does it make a difference, or do you think we should try and include one center?
I mean,
So I'm kind of pushing. Pretty much, I'm asking, do you want to put Webster?
I mean,
on?
Webster's got the highest votes anyway. So would you guys be okay? I mean, he's got 4 Super Bowls.
What's it say?
I can't do it.
No, get out of here, Ray. I saw what the board said.
Oh,
Dad, what do you have against Mike Webster? You're kind of holding back on
I don't
me.
have anything against Mike Webster. I just thought Otto had better numbers.
Oh, no.
Or not Otto, Ringo. Okay. That is something we need to talk about before we're done,
What?
is Jim Otto. Because if you look at the numbers, he actually has 12 Pro Bowls
Yeah.
and 12 All-Pros.
Yeah, I know. I brought this up in
10
the
of the
Raiders
first
episode,
team.
but he plays for old guys, so
Well, here's the
he played
thing.
the 50s.
I was also looking at all-decade teams.
Uh-huh.
He didn't make one.
What? Hey, you all pro 12 times.
Well,
just not
I
do it
think
back
it's
then?
because
Right.
it was split. He spent so many years in the AFL. He started so early.
That
And I looked at a site called NFL Legends, and they rank offensive linemen.
Mm-hmm.
They assign points to Pro Bowls, All Pros, second team, first team, all that stuff. And Otto was way down the list.
Do you want to change your Ringo to audit?
No, I mean,
Oh,
I'm talking about Otto, who's not even on our list.
oh, okay.
But it's funny, a guy with 12 and 12 doesn't make anybody's list.
I don't know how.
Anyway.
I was expecting one, honestly, after the Raider episode. I thought that. So I was waiting. I was kind of going to laugh.
Yeah.
It was kind of a funny argument when we did it during the Mount Rushmore.
Yeah. I can't believe we forgot a lineman after we listed 12.
Yeah.
The one time.
What do you want to make your case for Ringo for our center?
I would be willing to move.
He's going to go somewhat different.
Go Saturday.
Oh, it's
No,
tough.
absolutely not.
Dude, I love Jeff Saturday, but he just doesn't quite stack up. to
I'm
some of
going
these
to pull an
guys.
Alex. I refuse.
My thing with Ringo is he's got one more Pro Bowl than Webster, and he's got 3 more All Pros.
How many years Ringo play in the league?
He played 187 games to Webster's 245. So Webster played more games, but Ringo has more accolades.
Interesting.
He doesn't have as many Super Bowls. He got a couple NFL championships to Webster's 4 Super Bowls. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
so make me a deal, guys. If you want me to move to Webster, you got to make me. Somebody needs to come to McDaniel.
I'm already on McDaniel.
I'm already
so
there.
you go to Webster. I'll come off Upshaw to McDaniel.
Okay,
That work?
I'll do that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's much difference between McDaniel and Upshaw.
So,
Both monsters.
all right. So,
So
Almost
Upshaw's
there.
my vote
gone.
goes to Webster now,
Yep, so Upshaw's gone, right?
and Alex had Webster.
Yes, Upshaw is gone.
hold on. Who did I just get rid of?
So, who all has Mike Webster? I do now.
I do.
I do.
Ray, you have Webster.
Yeah.
And Alex
I don't.
too.
Oh, it's everybody
Bro-
but Brock.
Brock has Zach Martin and Jeff Saturday.
Well, how about this, Brock?
Yeah.
Come off Saturday to Webster, and then if I was you, I would keep Martin because I think you
You
have
can
a good
debate.
chance of
Yeah.
talking us into
Yeah.
Martin.
I'll do that. And then Yeah, I'll go from Saturday to Webster. So then you can just delete him.
So
'cause
Webster's
my dad's
on.
not here, so you can just get rid of Saturday.
So Webster's in.
Saturday's gone, so now it's between
Zach
McDaniel and Zach Martin. Every time I say Randall McDaniel, I want to say Ronald McDonald. It's just got that rhythm to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Randall McDaniel, Ronald McDonald.
Randall McDaniel. It does kind of have a nice little flow.
I mean, come on, bro. You can't have that kind of jingle and not. I mean, I know he's a Viking, but still. It's better than Cowboy.
Yeah. So we got 4 in.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, so right now we have Larry Allen, Mike Webster, John Hanna, and Bruce Matthews. And the last spot will either be Zach Martin or Randall McDaniel.
Steeler, Patriot.
So we got what, 1, 2.
It's 4 of us against Brock. So, Brock, let's hear your argument about Zach Martin again.
Okay.
Why do you think he's better than my boy?
I really think having one hold out of your entire career,
Well,
that's insane.
That's just Cowboy bias.
Cowboy bias.
If we're being
Screw
honest.
the Cowboys. I hate the Cowboys.
No, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the refs. They don't go holding on the Cowboys O-line. You kidding me? Cowboys, the Chiefs. Who else?
But
The Patriots when Brady was there. Oh, no, actually, the Patriot cornerback.
and
They don't call
especially
that.
having to deal with the Cowboys your
Right.
entire career. You have to deal with Dak Prescott your whole career. I'm going to lower my interception rate. Interception rate. Oh, got to go back to the sideline because Dak threw an interception on the opening
I'm
drive.
not throwing 10 interceptions this year. Don't you have like 6 already through 6 games?
That rough time.
The only thing that told me is Zeke leaving because he's just a.
Tony Pollard's just as good, if not better.
Brock, tell me how you really feel about the Cowboys. Keep going.
America's team, my butt.
This is no longer about Zach Martin.
I will
Rangers
say,
are America's
besides
team.
CeeDee Lamb, Zach Martin is my favorite Cowboy.
I mean, I like Zach
You
Martin.
just like CeeDee Lamb because you use him as your fantasy name. CeeDee's nuts. Get out of here.
So we were talking about it.
The real reason. Get out of here.
On the Romo section.
Oh my God.
Wade always has been since we've been little. Well, since I've been little.
That is great.
I'm like, Dad, who's the homosexual? That would be your cousin Wade.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's funny. Sorry if I dirtied your child's mind at a young age. Ugh.
So, Brock.
Did I convince you?
No.
no.
Would you be fine with coming to my...
You're just asking him to come over.
We have a guy, Randall McDaniel, that scored a touchdown.
Yeah, Brock.
He caught a touchdown pass.
He averages 2 yards a catch.
And a touchdown I catch.
Yeah, every time he catches the ball, Brock, it's a touchdown. I mean,
100%.
you can't argue with that stat. On the 1 yard line, who you getting the ball to? Randall McDaniel. Then we're going to Ronald McDonald's.
I'm looking up this.
This is going off the wrist. Quick.
I mean, we gotta make this entertaining somehow. This is gotta be one of.
This might go down as a classic episode. Alex never going to leave again.
Yeah, Alex isn't gonna leave us to take charge.
No. Oh, we're getting cut from the team, Drew. We're gonna
I don't
be
care.
for the next episode.
It's a victory in my book. That's all I get.
Breaking news.
What?
Take Zach Martin off.
Did you watch the video?
Nope. Randall McDaniel is that neck roll.
The neck.
He's scary.
Yeah.
He deserves to be here.
The neck.
All right, so here we go. Our five
Martin, I love you.
interior linemen are Larry Allen, Mike Webster, John Hanna, Randall McDaniel, and Bruce Matthews. And again, was this our 4th football episode?
Third, fourth.
Third or fourth. I can't.
Third,
remember.
4th. Anyway, third. Drew is 3 for 3.
Are you?
Yeah, all my lists are perfect. Bang, bang.
I got 4 out of 5.
I got 4, I think.
2 out of 5.
2 out of 5.
I
It's not,
didn't-
Brock, I like all your people. You had a couple newer guys. I like it, though. I like it.
Saturday shout out.
Yeah.
And
You're
Zach
welcome.
Martin's good. By the end of his
Zach Martin is very
But
good.
by the end of his career, I mean, he could rack up like 4 or 5 more Pro Bowls and all pros. He easily
He'll be on
could.
the list by the
Yeah.
time he retires.
I
as long
agree.
as he stays healthy.
I think he will be top 5 when he retires.
And honestly, I hate to give Alex credit here, but there's a chance Jason Kelsey, if he can stay healthy and rack
Yeah.
up a couple more, get a couple more accolades, there maybe.
I just don't know. He's already like 36, 37.
Yeah, that's
I think
his
he's gonna
problem, yeah.
retire soon. If he helps carry them to the Super Bowl,
If they get another one,
like because their offensive line is a huge part
Of that,
of
yeah.
their everything. Their offensive line is probably the best part of their team.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're nuts. So it would be really that would be a good stamp on the end of the career to maybe push them in the top 5.
All right, so that settles our top 5 part of this portion of this episode and carries us into what if. All right, Brock, since you're the guest, what's your what if for us?
What if Calvin Johnson or Barry Sanders did not retire at a young age?
Well, I'm talking about probably the rushing yards leader is Barry Sanders, and there's a good chance Calvin Johnson's at least top 3 in receiving. It's hard to say would have caught Jerry, but everybody else, there's definitely a chance.
I mean, Larry Fitzgerald's like second all time in a couple things, I think. So there's no reason Calvin couldn't have got there.
Yeah.
I think isn't Larry like second with like 17,000 and some?
Yeah, no one else is at 20.
Yeah, because Calvin had like what 12 or 13,000 in like 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So if he plays
I'm about to pull
5,
up
6,
Calvin's
7 more
stats.
years,
Yeah.
he could get there pretty easily, I think. But, Barry Sanders is definitely the all-time rushing leader,
Yes.
Oh yeah.
easily.
I mean, isn't his last year in the league? Doesn't he rush for 2,000 yards?
I think it was his second to last year.
Second.
He went like 2,000, then he went like 13 or 1,400 the next year.
Yeah.
1491
Yeah.
next year.
Yeah, his last year he almost got 1,500 yards.
Calvin Johnson in 9 seasons had 731 catches, 11,619 yards, and 83 touchdowns in 9 seasons.
Oh.
83 touchdowns. I didn't see that part.
And he also has the greatest single season maybe ever by a wide receiver with
Yeah.
the all-time yards record.
He had
for the season.
122 catches for 1,900 yards, only 5 touchdowns, but still.
Because it's Lions.
Yeah.
Real.
I mean, the year before that, he had 16 touchdowns, and the year after, he had 12. It's just that year.
Well, they've just struggled for so long, and the only people to really succeed there and become all-time greats, at least recently, are the 2 maybe biggest physical freaks we've ever seen. The most shifty. It took the most shiftiest person in NFL history, and then this like NBA small forward that happened to play wide receiver.
I'm saying he's 6'5", 240.
Yeah.
He's almost as big as some of the linemen we
He
talked
ran
about.
like a 4.4 or 4.3.
Yeah.
Like these guys are just the biggest. Like watching Barry Sanders move left to right was one of the craziest things ever. There's never been anyone to ever run like Barry Sanders.
No.
Like when they throw his name out there for other guys, it's kind of a joke. Like it's kind of an insult to Barry.
Yeah, when they say, "Oh, this guy's like Barry," no,
he's not.
no, he's not.
He's really not at all. But just because he's shifty and just because someone's elusive doesn't mean they're Barry Sanders. Like Barry Sanders did things that no one's ever done before.
So I'm not sure where Calvin's at, like on his contract, but like, does he leave the Lions eventually, or is he going to stay there the rest of the time instead of retire?
It's tricky because I think he actually likes Detroit.
That's what I thought. I thought he liked it. There was no point in him playing. Like,
I think he started. He was starting to have like chronic knee problems. And I think he didn't want to like derail the rest of his life, and that's one of the things.
why derail the rest of your life for the Lions?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, when you weren't gonna. That's
Yeah.
why Barry walked away. You know.
His last year in the league, they were 7-9. They finished 3rd in the division.
I watched a documentary on Calvin Johnson. You know those a football life things.
Oh,
on the
yeah.
network? They have one on him, and he talks about it at the very end of his retirement and what Detroit means to him and all this stuff. And he still really likes Detroit, and he said he cares about it and stuff. But he said he just had to move on because he had other interests, and he didn't want to sacrifice his health for the rest of his life going forward because he was already having. You know, it's the same stories that you hear from all guys like that. You know, they can barely walk getting out of bed. They can't walk upstairs. Like, and then, like a couple of his teammates are in the documentary, and they talk about you could tell the last his 8th and 9th year, like the way he walked around the facility, like it wasn't.
He was hurting.
He didn't look good. And they said, but he'd get on the field, and then, bam,
I mean, his last year he had 88 catches, 1,200 yards, and 9 touchdowns.
So when did Barry retire, and when did Calvin come into the league?
Calvin came into the league in 2007. And Barry, you say he ended?
Yeah, when did he retire?
He retired in 98.
Oh, so they probably would have never overlapped.
No.
No.
Barry probably would have stuck around for 3-4 more years.
Could you imagine that? If they were.
That's what I was thinking. Is that there's any chance of them overlapping? Detroit might have
I
been.
mean, you have to get Barry another 9 years in the league.
that wasn't going to happen for a running back.
Yeah.
I mean,
And as shifty as he was, eventually he was going to get hit enough to where he'd slip.
I mean,
Those knees would have exploded.
he's already
Yeah.
got over 3,000 rushes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another crazy thing about Barry is how durable he was for kind of being a smaller. Like he was very compact and had like huge legs. But he wasn't like he's not Vernon Jacobs out there just destroying people back in the day.
Before
Or
his,
some huge
after
Adrian
his
Peterson.
Barry's first season, he never missed a game.
Yeah.
I mean, his first year in the league, he played 15 games and he started 13 of them. But after that, he started every game and he played.
Yeah.
I mean, he never missed a game.
Yeah.
I mean, in every year of your career, you rush for 1,000 yards.
I mean,
Well,
he gave it all to Detroit. I mean, he
did.
really did.
I mean, it's. I don't want to go into too much detail because we're going to do a giant running back episode, but I mean, in my personal opinion, when it comes to running backs, it's Barry and Walter are kind of above everybody else for me. They're just kind of up there, and some people have like Jim Brown up there. But like,
we know it's Jim Brown.
yeah,
There.
I mean, there's other people that people throw in there, but those are to me the two most dominant running backs ever, and they just.
I mean, in his shortened season in 11 games, he had 243 rushing attempts for 1,100 yards and 3 touchdowns.
He had 1,100 yards in 11 games.
Yeah. I mean, that's his lowest
Yeah.
year of his career because he only played 11 games. After that, the next lowest one is 13, which is nuts.
Any what he played 10 years,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
And after 10 years, still averaged 5 yards per carry for his career.
Yeah.
Mhm, yeah.
And how many yards did he end up with total?
15,000. I mean,
10 years.
he's right. I mean, the next year he would have passed Walter, and that's why he stopped.
Right.
He stopped
I
'cause-
really think that is the reason he did it. I think he didn't want to pass Walter
and the
out of
turd
respect for Walter.
and the turd did.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still only 3,000 yards behind. So if he plays a year and a half, he has it.
Right.
Like, I mean, he's not that far behind. People think, oh, he retired early, he's way behind. No, he's
Really well. Honestly, even if they wanted to even like platoon him to help save him, he's still gonna easily get it. Easily.
yeah.
He'd stick around for a few more years, even if he just platoon, which he wouldn't platoon. Like he just came off 1,400 yards. He was gonna be the full-time starter the next year.
Right.
And even if he just platooned for 2-3 years after that, he still would have broke it by a few thousand.
I bet Barry would have got to 20. He'd be at 20.
He could have.
I bet he could have.
If
Yeah,
you
maybe.
He'd be kind of like Jerry. He'd be the only one in the 20,000s.
if you watched those old Lions teams, he could have had more yards. Because there were several years when they would start the season, it's like, we're not going to lean on Barry this year. We're going to pass the ball. And they'd go the first few games trying to pass the ball all the time. They'd lose, get way behind. The coach would worry about his job. Then he'd start running Barry. Barry'd get him almost to the playoffs or barely,
Squeak in or something.
And
I think
So-
that's. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, I was, yeah, good.
Honestly, I'm pretty sure that's what happened in his 2,000-yard season. Like the first game or two, he doesn't have very many yards, and then the last 13 or 14 games of the season, he just goes fucking nuts.
Yeah, coach wanted to keep his job.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find his per game, what he did in each game, to see.
Oh, in that 2,000-yard season,
One of them, yeah. Doesn't he have no, he's only got one.
I mean, honestly, he's only got one 2,000-yard season, but it was, yeah. And the
Well, he has more than one, but the other one's in college.
well,
Yeah,
I think
well,
Oklahoma State, right?
Yes, he was.
I know a little bit of a few things.
Well, right before him, Thurman Thomas was
Right.
before him. I mean, Oklahoma
crazy.
State had Thurman Thomas, Barry Sanders.
back to back.
I mean, that's
I think Miami would have had Edgerrin James and then Clinton Portis and then Frank Gore, or somewhere in that order. Back in the day.
yeah. So the 2,000 yard season, it's his first 2 games. He doesn't even get over 80 yards.
Yeah.
His first game, he has 46, 24, and then it's time to get going. 202, 118, 173, 120, 260, 111, bye week, 125, 105, 211, 249, 222, 145, 148, and 206.
Oh my
Spicy.
Then he has 109 games in their playoff game,
Yeah, that's nuts.
and they lose because it's the Lions.
Yeah, because it's the Lions.
They lose to the Buccaneers.
Well, they score 90 points and still lose.
That's insane.
That is.
Yeah.
So he had less than 80 yards. I knew it was something like that.
Yeah. I mean,
That's nuts.
he had
That's crazy.
46 and 24. I mean, he only had 70 yards in the first 2 games. And he said, okay.
So he pretty much ran for 2,000 yards in pretty much 14 games. I think that's crazy.
Okay, let's take a look at this. What if you move Barry to Dallas?
Oh, well.
And he's running with, wasn't that about Larry Allen time?
Mm-hmm.
What if you run Barry Sanders behind Larry Allen?
You run the power sweep.
This is actually something that me and Bob always talk about during a bunch of our years of drunk conversations. Because we're both obsessed with Barry Sanders. And Bob brought this up one time, and we got to trying to break it down a little bit and trying to figure out how it would work. Because they just ran power stuff up the middle with Emmett. We thought they would maybe spread it out a smidge bit more just to spread out the defense.
Right.
And then all those moves that you always saw Barry Sanders make in the backfield to save his life and then to get out and then try and break away from people getting to the backfield constantly, he'd be making on the second level.
Right. He'd be making them 10 yards down the
He'd
field.
go up a hole and then go be 5 yards deep and then do that to the linebacker instead of the entire defensive line. And then be taking off and just have to beat a safety in a corner instead of the rest of the team. Because he has an offensive line who could dominate and push people and create holes.
Wow. And you have a passing game.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as we bag on Troy Aikman and the guys, I mean, he's better than what he had in Detroit.
Yeah.
And Michael Irving, a Hall of Fame receiver outside. I mean,
yeah.
I think they even had a good the number 2 receiver. His name was Harper or something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was that Harper.
Yeah. He was pretty solid.
I mean, yeah, that's better than what he had in Detroit. As much as we bag on the Cowboys, that's
Aikman did his job.
yeah. And
I think I think you're right, Drew. I think we're talking 20,000.
Oh, if he's on the Cowboys,
Oh,
definitely.
we're talking 25 plus. I mean, I said 20,000 with the Lions if he stays.
Yeah.
25 plus.
He goes to the Cowboys.
He's not getting hurt ever.
He's telling Jerry bye-bye in the dust as he's going past that 21 receiving 1,000 yard receiving.
Yeah.
He's saying bye-bye.
He's waving at Jerry Rice. He's pointing up at Jerry Jones, wiping off another Super Bowl ring because Barry's better than Emmett.
He's telling Jerry Jones to show him the money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He ain't retiring with all the money he's going to be making.
Yeah, both of Jerry's be praying to him.
Yeah.
Crazy part is what do you think happens with Calvin then? So do you think him and Stafford both get shipped off around the same time and Calvin's now playing on a Super Bowl contender? Because
That's what I was saying. I mean, he may not be in his prime, like you said, he's starting to get hurt. But like I was telling them on the way up here, I said, someone's going to pick up Calvin Johnson. Yeah. I mean, he'll...
When did he retire?
2015. So, who...
I guess it was quite a few years later when Stafford would have left.
Yeah, Stafford didn't leave the, 19, 20?
But if Calvin's unhappy, then, and as because, I mean, like we said earlier, there was other stuff involved, but if he was contending for Super Bowls, I don't think he just ups and leaves out of nowhere.
No.
Right.
You do more things in pain if you're playing for a Super Bowl.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When you're winning 7 to 3 games a year, I think him and Stafford squeaked into the playoffs twice or something like that.
Yeah.
And they never won a playoff game. And that's just because those two were extremely talented and they had an Ndamukong Suh on defense. And
Yeah.
that was pretty much it. I mean, these weren't rosters loaded with Hall of Famers. They were Stafford, Johnson, and then, Ndamukong Suh for a couple years.
I don't really think. I mean, we've kind of concentrated on the personal stuff of each player. I don't really think it changes the Lions much.
No, we're not talking about them having any more success.
No, because the careers wouldn't overlap. Mm-hmm. They might be a little bit better, but they're still not going to be. They just never put anything around them.
Yeah, honestly, it's taken to kind of right now. We don't even really know how good they are right now. We think they're good, but we're not really sure.
It's better than what they normally are.
Yeah, I mean, they had a positive year last year, and they've started off well this year. I think everyone wants them to be good, but everyone's still kind of hesitant.
Right.
They're still the Lions.
No one's hopping on the bandwagon yet.
Well, especially after that Ravens loss last
Yeah,
week.
that looked
That
bad.
was down by 32 points.
Oh, my
They were
God.
down by 28 in the middle of the second quarter or something like that. Yeah, it is kind of it's a goofy scenario.
It's just weird it happens to the same franchise.
I mean, this is what they're known for. This is why it's a what if. Like, they're known for having two of the most talented players in NFL history both retire early because they didn't want to play for them anymore.
Yeah, they just had enough.
Not that they didn't really,
It's just sad.
like they were mad at the city and stuff. It's just there was no point in them doing that to their bodies for no reason.
Yeah.
I mean, they weren't selfish enough just to like get more accolades and like career totals. They just were like, no, my body's done.
And they both seem to be doing well since retirement, so it
Oh,
seems to
yeah.
be a good decision. I mean, Barry,
Yeah.
we know, has done well. He's older, so we've seen him kind of be retired for a while, but you haven't heard anything terrible about Calvin Johnson.
No.
No.
So it seems to be a good decision.
I mean, you always see Barry in those Heisman commercials every year.
Yeah.
He does those every year, and he looks fine.
Yeah.
Well, you reach a point where you're not winning, you're not gonna win.
Yeah, you have
Why
optimism at the
destroy
beginning
rest
of your
life.
You have optimism at the beginning of your career when your team's like, okay, maybe here in a couple of years, but when you get to year 10 or 11, you're like, it ain't going anywhere.
Right.
You're like,
They've been promising for all these years, and they haven't followed through on it yet.
And I think when he retired, I think Stafford had been there, not a terribly long time, but he'd been there for a few years. So
Yeah.
it was not like him and Stafford were a new thing. They
No.
had played together. They had a few years where they had won like 9 games and squeaked in.
Stafford came in the league in 2009, so they played,
6 years together.
6 years, yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know if your team's good or not. It's everyone always talks about everyone plans on winning the Super Bowl in every training camp or whatever. It's like
If
you know if you can win.
Yeah. If Stafford was still in Detroit, you think he'd still be in Detroit? If you don't have the trade, do you think he would have lasted, or do you think he'd called it quits too?
I think at that point in time when he did get traded, I think he would have kept playing, but I think maybe around this time he might have.
I think he's done by
I
now.
think he'd be
Oh,
done.
yeah, I think so.
I mean, he was starting to get banged up anyway.
Yeah, he was.
He was taking a beating.
He was. And
Well-
he was tough though. He stayed in there.
Oh, yeah, he is. He's
Well,
a tough guy.
that one drive against, I think it was the Browns, hit one of his shoulders to separate. I don't think it's his throwing shoulder, but the other one's like separated. He's like, I'm good.
He wins.
Yeah, he wins.
Yeah.
Yeah, he runs it in. He
That's why I wanted him so bad for the Rams. I'm like, yeah, bring Stafford in. He'll get us a Super Bowl, and he did.
Well, if you could just watch him play, his arm talent is unreal.
Oh, yeah.
He can make every throw with absolute ease. He has a cannon for an arm, and he could do all that arm angle stuff way before Mahomes ever did it.
and no
Stafford was doing it for years before.
no one talks about his Super Bowl throw when he doesn't look at Cooper Kupp. He goes.
Yeah.
He goes like 3rd and 13. He throws it right to Kupp, not looking sidearm, but no one talks about that.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's just what the Lions are about. They're just a
Yeah.
bunch of what if stories.
Yeah.
Failures, unfortunately.
I hope that they have turned it around for the Detroit fans.
I like their team now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Just Detroit in general, they've been waiting on one of their teams to be good.
Oh, I bet those fans are desperate for some.
I mean,
like a really good.
between the Lions, the Tigers, the Red Wings, and the Pistons were probably the last team in what, 04? 05 to win a title?
Yeah, Pistons or Red Wings. The Red Wings have won a Stanley Cup or two.
Yeah, that was early
that's been a
90s.
while,
yeah.
yeah.
Tigers went to a couple World Series, but I think they lost them all. Didn't
Yeah, they lost. They made
The
it.
Cardinals beat
Yeah.
them in 1 year.
Yeah, they made a couple ALCSs, but I think they've gotten
Well, the
beat by the
Tigers
Red
have Howie
Sox.
bias, so there's no point
Yeah.
trying for that team.
And then we all know about the Lions.
Yeah.
So is that all we got about the Lions?
I think so. Hey, by the way, Brock, that was a very good what if, and
Yeah, so I like
we're
it.
glad you joined us this evening.
Yeah, thanks for being on our entertaining offensive lineman episode, Brock. We really
Right.
appreciate
Came
it.
through for us. We appreciate it.
Sitting in Alex's spot, no less.
Yeah, Alex has a feel.
He's probably like Sheldon right now from the Big Bang.
Yeah, somebody's sitting in my spot on the couch.
Okay, is next week No. Yeah.
Next week will be
Oh, edge rushers. Edge rushers. That's right. My bad. All right. So basically next week is edge rushers, and how's Alex end the episode? I can't think of it in my head.
You want me to end it?
You can end it, yeah.
And thanks for tuning in
Oh, that's
to
it. I
Sports
couldn't remember
the
it.
NEMO Way.